Hello students, today we are going to solve examples from textbook page number 10 which are based on mass and weight, the topic which we have discussed yesterday. Question is given before you is, if a person weighs 750 Newton on earth, weight of person on earth is 750 Newton, how much would be the weight of the same person on moon? We have to find out. For this we have given here moon's mass is 1 upon 81 of the earth. It means that mass of moon is equal to 1 upon 81 of that of mass of earth. It means mass of earth upon 81. The first thing is given in example, and second thing is given moon's radius is 1 upon 3.7 of the earth. It means radius of moon is equal to 1 upon 3.7 of the radius of the earth. It means radius of earth upon 3.7. These things are given. So from the first given thing, we can say that, therefore we can say that ratio of mass of earth and mass of moon, ratio between mass of earth and mass of moon. What is the mass of earth? Me. What is the mass of moon? Upon me by 81. This will become me, division will convert into the multiplication. Me upon 81 will become 81 upon me. These are the like terms get divided. What will remain? Only 81. It is given in our textbook. Already the value of this ratio is given in your textbook. How come this step came? Is it clear? The second thing, moon's radius is 1 upon 3.7 of the earth's radius. So radius of moon is equal to 1 upon 3.7 of earth radius, that is radius of earth upon 3.7. This is the radius of moon. Now again we will take the ratio of radius of earth to radius of moon. So radius of earth is equal to RE divided by radius of moon. Let us substitute the values. Radius of earth divided by radius of moon is radius of earth upon 3.7. Again simplification we will do. Radius of earth division will become multiplication. 3.7 will go in numerator and radius of earth will go in denominator. This both are cancelled. So what is the ratio of radii of earth and moon? It is 3.7. This is already given in your textbook. Now let's move to the next. Any doubt regarding this? How come this value came is clear? Let's move for the next step. Now from this same step we will go for the next. For the next step we will discuss. Now let us consider, let the mass of person be m. Small m we will consider. Mass of person is small m. Mass unit is kilogram. So m kilogram. So therefore, weight of person on the earth is equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity, right? What is the value of weight? It is given 750 newtons, equal to mass we don't know, into g. Let us substitute the value of g. M into g. Yesterday we derived the expression for g. G is equal to universal gravitational constant into mass of planet upon radius square of that planet. Here we are talking about earth, right? Here we are talking about earth. So we will take mass of earth and radius of earth. We will substitute this value in this expression. So m into g's value, g into mass of earth upon square of the radius of earth, right? So from this we will find out value of m. Let the m here, and remaining all the terms we will transpose. Denominator terms will go in numerator and numerator will go in denominator. Therefore, mass of person is equal to 750 into radius of earth square upon constant of gravity and mass of earth. This we will consider as expression number 1. Now, after taking the weight of person on the earth, we will also discuss about the weight of person on the moon. So what will be the weight of person on the moon? Again, same thing. Mass into acceleration due to gravity, that is g. Now here we are talking about moon. So g into mass of moon upon radius of moon square. Now, what is this? This is the mass of person. Yesterday we discussed mass is the stable quantity. Wherever you will go, mass will not change. Whatever the mass is, it will be same. Whether the person is on earth or the person is on moon, value of mass will be same. So let us substitute value of mass of a person from equation 1. Up to here all the steps are clear. Do you understand? समझ में आई बात? चलिए आगे के स्टेप पे चलते हैं और इस एक्सप्रेशन में m की वैल्यू सब्स्टिट्यूट करते हैं जो हम लोगों ने पहले लिखी है. So therefore (750) radius of earth bracket square upon g mass of earth. This is the value of m we have substituted, multiplied by g mass of moon upon radius of moon bracket square. Now see, this g is common, it will get divided 1, right? Now next, 750 Now I will write this in the little proper way. Here I will take all the numerators. Radius of earth square into mass of moon, and here mass of earth into radius of moon square. So I will take the ratio of mass and ratio of radius together. So mass on moon upon mass on earth multiplied by, I have written this 2 as one ratio, and radius of earth square upon radius of moon square. Okay. Now let us substitute the values. We already calculated these values. One more step I will take here. 750 into mass of moon upon mass of earth. mass of moon, moon का mass और earth के mass का ratio multiplied by radius of earth upon radius of moon, इन दोनों का square. Let us substitute the values. 750 will be as it is. ये सब हम लोग निकाल रहे हैं. The next is, here this is the weight of person on moon. Last expression थोड़ा सा recap करके देख लीजिए. This is the value of weight of person on moon, which we have substituted. So 750. What this ratio is from given thing? Ratio of mass on moon upon mass on earth, mass of earth. We have in the given mass of earth to mass of moon 81. So here mass of moon to mass of earth will be what? 1 upon 81. Values will get changed. Since we have mass of earth to mass of moon is equal to 81 multiplied by ratio of radius of earth and radius of moon. This is already we have 3.7 and bracket square. This is also given in the previous step. Is equal to 3.7. Here this got inversed. That's why instead of 81 we have written 1 upon 81. This is the value of mass of earth to mass of moon, and we have here mass of moon to mass of earth. So we have to make inverse of it. So instead of writing 81 we have written here 1 upon 81. So 750 multiplied by 1 upon 81 multiplied by 3.7 multiplied by 3.7. So product of this all the three numbers, $10,267.5 divided by 81. Let's go for division. $10,267.5 divided by 81. So first three digits we will take 102. 81 ones are 81. 6 take down. Eighty-one twos are 162. 4, 5. Let's take 7 down. 547. 2 divide with sixth step of 81. 486. 1. 6. Decimal point. 5 we will take down. The 7th place we will divide. 7. 8. 4. 0 will take 5. 1s are 5. 10. And it will go on. We will take only up to 2 digits. It will be 126.75. This is newtons. If you suppose you will do the rounding of, this will become 8. So 126.8 Newton. Now if you will check the value, weight on earth is 750 newtons, and here this is the weight on moon. It is 1.20, sorry, this is 26, 126.8. So if you will take the ratio of this both, it will be 1/6 times. So the weight on the moon is nearly 1/6 of the weight on earth. Means if suppose your weight is 20 newtons, weight of any object is 20 newtons on moon, then it will be, if suppose weight is 20 newtons on moon, then it will be 6 times of 20, that is 120 newtons on earth. If weight of any object on earth, if suppose 480 newtons, then weight on weight of same object on moon will be 480 divided by 6. It will be 80 newtons. So is it clear? So repeat and revise the steps once again and try to solve examples which are based on this same. Dear students, let's continue with Do You Know? Textbook page number 10. Gravitational waves. In the previous classes, we have learned about sound waves and light waves. Here, some information is given related to the gravitational waves. Now, what is mean by gravitational waves? What is mean by light waves, etc. and waves? Let's discuss about in short, in brief. So waves are created on the surface of water. If suppose you will consider this is the water surface, right? Water is a liquid matter, and if you will put a stone on, if you will drop a stone on this surface of water, you will see that due to the dropping of the stone, the water surface will get disturbed, and the circular small concentric circles you can see appeared on it, and this is nothing but the ripple. So like this, ripples, concentric circles appear on the plane surface of water. So gravitational waves are nothing but this type of waves. We will discuss it shortly. We also know about light rays. Light is nothing but the form of energy, and light is also called as electromagnetic waves. The different type of waves are like gamma rays, X-rays. We are using in our day-to-day life for many places. Again, ultraviolet rays, infrared rays, as well as microwaves. These all are in the form of waves. Also radio waves, through which we are broadcasting the different programs on radio. So all these are nothing but the different type of rays which are in the form of waves. All these are of different type of electromagnetic waves. These are electromagnetic waves. The same way as light rays, sound waves, as well as gamma, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, infrared rays, microwaves, radios, and all these type of electromagnetic waves. The same way, the heavenly bodies, different heavenly bodies are producing a particular type of wave, and these waves are nothing but called as gravitational waves. So astronomical objects are emitting the waves. Suppose this is the sun. So from the surface of the sun, or this is another astronomical object, any planet or any star or any black hole, any energy containing body which is in the universe. So these are giving out in the outward direction a kind of energy which is in the form of concentric circles, they are like ripple type. As ripples are appearing on the surface of water, so ripple types of waves are given by different astronomical objects. You may consider any stars or black holes, etc. And these waves are going from in to outward. It is going in the outward direction. And such a type of rays, such a type of waves are called as gravitational waves, which are in the form of ripples, are called as gravitational waves. So this gravitational waves are there in the whole universe. It was firstly it was predicted by, not proved or discovered, predicted by uh, predicted by the scientist Albert Einstein. A very well known scientist in year 1916, exactly after 100 years. Today we have seen many observatories, space stations in the universe, in the outer space, for detecting this gravitational waves. So gravitational waves are very different types of waves, and they have been called as fabric. These waves are known, these are called as fabric of space time. These waves are called as fabric of space time, and these were predicted by Albert Einstein before 100 years in the 1916s. These waves are extremely sensitive, extremely weak. They are weak and undetectable. We cannot detect them easily. Since they are coming from the long distance, billions of light years they are reaching to the earth's surface, they are very much difficult to detect. Scientists have constructed extremely sensitive instruments which are having ability to receive these waves and to detect the uh, presence of these gravitational waves, or we can say fabric of space time. And these observatories, or we can say these instruments which are used to detect these gravitational waves, instruments which are used to detect gravitational waves are extremely sensitive, and these are located in the space, in spacecrafts. These are called as LIGO. The long form of this is L stands for laser, I stands for interferometric, G stands for gravitational wave, and O stands for observatories. Remember this long form as well as this abbreviation. It can be asked for 1 mark in multiple choice questions. Either in select the correct option or correlation, such type of questions can be asked, or true or false, or directly question can be asked for 1 mark for write the long form of. So what is LIGO? Laser interferometric gravitational wave observatories. These observatories are located in the outer space. What is the purpose of this? To detect, these are nothing but the instruments which are used to detect gravitational waves in the space, and from that we can understand the age of the different astronomical objects, and different information we can understand with the help of this LIGO. In the today's technology, after 100 years of production, this these observatories are made and used by the scientists, and in this researches and in this all field of knowledge, Indian scientists have also played very important role. They have a huge contribution in the path of development of this uh, between electromagnetic waves and gravitational waves. So main important difference is electromagnetic waves are in the form of transfer waves. These are nothing but the transfer waves, while gravitational waves are in form of ripple. These are ripple waves. Means, if suppose you will hold a string at fixed place, and from the other end, if suppose you will apply a jerk, then they will start to move in this way. So all the electromagnetic waves like gamma rays, X rays, microwaves, all such a type of rays are in this form. But gravitational waves are emitted in such a way that they are forming the concentric type of circles, and they are going in outward direction like ripple, right? So I hope you understood. And such a type of waves are emitted by the two heavenly bodies, and these waves are when intersecting each other, so they are forming network like structures, and these are used to detect the times in the space. And as they are forming like this network type of structure, they are called as fabric of the space time.
Back in 1915, Albert Einstein gave the world his new theory of gravity, the general theory of relativity, which is based on the beautiful idea that gravity is nothing but warps and curves in the fabric of space-time. Now, barely a year later, Einstein pushed this idea one vital step further. You see, he realized that if space is flexible enough to warp, then it should also be able to ripple, to vibrate, to undulate. And that would mean that if something were to jostle the fabric of space-time, it should send out ripples in the fabric of space, and it's those ripples that we now call gravitational waves. Now, of course, the source of gravitational waves would not be my hand jostling space. Instead, it would be some highly energetic astrophysical process like rapidly orbiting neutron stars or black holes that would send out a steady rumble of gravitational waves. Or at least, this is what the theory says should happen. How do you test this idea? Well, the math shows that as a gravitational wave rolls by, it will squeeze and stretch anything in its path. You see it happening here for the Earth, but of course, this is highly exaggerated so you can see the effect. When you do the calculation, you find that the amount of squeezing and stretching is tiny, a mere fraction of an atomic diameter, and that makes it pretty difficult to detect. But that is what the LIGO team has now achieved. And they did it with two detectors, one in Louisiana, the other in Washington State. And in these detectors, what they do is they fire laser beams along two 4-kilometer-long evacuated tunnels. And when the light recombines, it creates an iconic pattern. It's known as an interference pattern. The only thing that you need to grasp is that were a gravitational wave to roll by, it would squeeze and stretch the arms of the detector, and that would have a measurable impact on that interference pattern, causing it to shift. And it's just that kind of shift in the interference pattern that the LIGO team has now observed. The first direct detection of gravitational waves. This is big. This will go down in the history of science as a pivotal moment. And not just because it's another spectacular confirmation of Einstein's ideas, which it is, but rather because for millennia, we have explored the universe using waves of light. This discovery marks the opening of a new era in which we will explore the universe using waves of gravity.